Hello everybody, welcome back to Bandwagon Sports, and today I'm going to do kind of an interesting video. I don't think anyone has done this before. I'm going to do a 1969 NHL redraft, and 1969, if you didn't know, was the first NHL draft with the modern lottery system in place where, there would be a draft lottery. The first NHL draft was 1963, if you didn't know that. The first overall pick ever in NHL history was Gary Monahan, but really up until 1969, there was not enough players drafted each year to be even considered for a redraft, and there's barely enough for me to even consider 1969 redraft, but we're here, we're going to do it. It's not going to be the greatest redraft, it's not going to be the most fun, but my plan is we're going to start here at 1969. We're going to work our way up to 2020, hopefully in about a year or two when that draft has panned out a little bit, and yeah, let's just have fun doing it. So without further ado, I can't speak tonight, but without further ado, let's hop into the 1969 NHL redraft. Okay, so we're only going to be doing a top 10 for this redraft, mainly because it is 1969. It'll be displayed right here, hopefully. And let's get into the top 10 picks in the original. So pick number 1 to the Montreal Canadiens was Jean Houle. Number 2 was Marktardif. Number 3 was Dan Tannehill, or Don Tannehill. Number 4 was Frank Spring. Number 5 was Dick Redmond. Number 6 was Bob Courrier. Number 7 was Tony Featherstone. Number 8 was Andre Dumont. Number 9 was Ernie Moser. And number 10 was Jim Rutherford. I'll put the names in the team that drafted them up here, which is why I'm off to the side. But that is the original top 10. So let's hop into the first overall pick in the 2019-69 redraft. So, starting off here with pick number 1, the Montreal Canadiens, who I know have the first overall pick, select Bobby Clarke. And yes, Bobby Clarke was in this draft. He was selected in the 3rd round, I believe, of this draft. No, he was selected 2nd round, 17th overall to the Philadelphia Flyers. Excellent player, 1,144 career games, 358 goals, and 1,210 points. Really the first big player for the Flyers in their organization, and really a huge part of them winning the Stanley Cups in the 70s. And yeah, this is just a really great steal pick for them here in the 2nd round. So that's number 1. Let's go on to number 2. At number 2, the pick will be the original number 11th pick, Ivan Boldarev, who's a Canadian. He was 20 years old when he was drafted as center, and he played 1,052 NHL games in total, so a pretty hefty workload, 361 goals and 866 assists. Pretty decent player overall, probably a first-line caliber player in today's NHL with those statistics. But yeah, definitely just a half-decent player here at number 11 for whatever team drafted him. Not bad at all, and that's why he's pick number 2, because I do believe he's the second best player in this draft. So let's move on to pick number 3. The 3rd overall pick is going to Jim Rutherford, who was the original number 10 overall pick. Jim Rutherford is a goaltender, and he had a pretty good NHL career. He played 457 games in total. He had 15 assists in his goaltending career, and I don't have his wins and losses right now just because I'm looking at this, normal page right here, which you can't see at all, but whatever. Jim Rutherford was a good goalie. I do know the name, and I do know that he had a long, good career. He was a starter. He was a fringe starter as well at times, but overall just a pretty good goalie in the NHL. Really nothing to complain about. I mean, I think a goalie that gives you 450-plus games in the NHL is deserving of a high pick, and Jim Rutherford was one of those goalies, so that is the 3rd overall selection. Here at number 4, we actually have the last pick of this draft, the 18th overall selection, originally going number 4, and that is defenseman Ron Stackhouse. In 889 games played, he had 87 goals and 459 points for a defenseman. That is pretty good. He had a long, lengthy NHL career and a top 4 role, and, he was good 2A as well. He had a plus 35 and, over 450 points, which is excellent. Good scoring numbers for a defenseman and overall good analytics, so I have him here at the 4th overall spot. Here at number 5, I actually have the original number 5 overall selection, Dick Redmond, going. And Dick Redmond, another defenseman, very good player in 771 NHL games. He had 133 goals for 445 points in total, and a lot more of a goal scorer than Stackhouse, but obviously not as long service time, not nearly as many points, but pretty good player in general, more of an offensive guy. Dick Redmond was, but definitely a solid player still at the NHL level, putting up good numbers again, and I just have Stackhouse squeaking just a bit above Dick Redmond at this number 5 spot. So let's move on to number 6. At number 6, I have the original first overall selection, Montreal Canadiens, Réjean Houle, and this guy was very good coming out of junior. He really was looking great, and in 634 career games played, he had 161 goals and 408 points. He was actually a really decent two-way player as well, and I know plus-minus is a misleading stat, but 179 plus-minus. He wasn't a bad player. He's a good middle six player for the Canadiens throughout the 70s, and just a really half-decent hockey player. Definitely not first overall caliber, but not the worst thing that you could have possibly got here, considering other first-round picks before Réjean Houle in the 60s. They did not turn out very well, so considering a guy that you get first overall and turns out to be a second liner for you, that's a win. So let's move on to pick number 7. And now at number 7, I have the original number 2 overall pick, Marktardif, and he was a pretty good player as well. In 517 career games played, he had 194 goals for 401 points, and really the only reason why he's lower, even though he puts up better points per game stats, is because he didn't stick around the NHL as long as Réjean Houle, and really, that's kind of what it came down to in this, where did these guys stick around? If they did, they get higher in the spot, and also point production matters too, and that's why I have Marktardif here still at number 7. I do believe that his point production is excellent, definitely a great second-line player in it during his time in the NHL, and, definitely not a bad player to draft second overall, a guy like Tardif, so no complaints there. Let's move on to number 8. Here at number 8, we have Pierre Jarry, who went number 12 originally, and he is a winger, and in 344 career games played, he had 88 goals and 206 points. So again, one of those guys who's kind of a middle six player. To get that at number 12 is not bad for a 1969 draft. And again, just like a guy like Tardif, a guy like Houle, really not a lot to say. Just a decent middle six guy you can slot into the lineup. So really not much else to say here with Pierre Jarry. Just a good player to have on your lineup, and I have him number 8 here in the redraft. So let's move on to number 9. And here at number 9, I have defenseman Dale Hoggan, who originally went 16th overall. I have him here at number 9 in 343 career games. He had 13 goals, 90 points. I really cannot speak tonight. I'm sorry about this, but he was a pretty decent two-way shutdown kind of defenseman. Really nothing special, just kind of a 4 or 5 defenseman in the lineup in any given game, but definitely a minute cruncher, definitely a guy who you could rely on in that, bottom 3 of your defensive pairing, and just overall a decent player, so I have him here at number 9. Let's move on to the final pick at number 10. And here at number 10, I actually have a guy who played a lot of NHL time, and that is Andre Dumont. 810 career games played at the NHL level, 59 goals, 244 assists, and he originally went number 8, and drops down 2 spots, but overall an absolute game player in the NHL. 810 games played, which is excellent. You could argue he should be ahead of Hoggan and Jarry, but I really do feel like this is a good role for Jarry, or not Jarry, Dumont, or whatever his name is. Yeah, Dumont. Just a decent overall player. Not a huge point producer. Good shutdown defenseman, though, and he had almost 2,000 penalty minutes in his NHL career, which is crazy. Definitely just a big bully on the ice, and I don't know. I don't really think that's too useful in today's NHL, which is really why I do have him here at number 10. Just not very versatile at all. He had his role and he played it. So that's it for pick number 10. Let's move on to the outro. And I hope you all did enjoy this video. Really, I don't know a lot of these guys. I know Réjean Houle. I know Bobby Clark. I know what's his name, Jim Rutherford, but that's about it. And really, up until about probably 1980, I'm not going to know a lot of these guys, but I'm doing a little bit of research on them before these videos. I'm not going totally in depth because I don't want these videos to be half an hour long, but, I'm looking at their career and overall just placing them where I think they belong. So I hope you did enjoy this 1969 NHL redraft. If this video does decently, at least, I will be sure to post more. I will be sure to go ahead with the 1970 redraft, but if it really does nothing, I'll just leave it at this and leave a random-ass 1969 redraft on my channel. So thank you all so much for watching this video. Please do consider leaving a like and subscribing on our way to 150 subscribers. So Thank you all for watching. Stay classy, and I'll see you in the next one. But for now, bye.